Secondly, I'd like to thank Todd Weber for all his hard work that he puts in with video, with media coverage that he gives us, putting articles in the paper and stuff. Thank you. Also, thanks to Shannon for traveling around and taking all the photos. It's very nice of you. And I know the kids and the parents really enjoy it. And all the posters you made us this year too, amazing. Lastly, I want to thank our coaching staff and their families. You know, everyone knows that's involved with coaching and all sports. It takes time and it's a grind. And there's a lot of sacrifices that you make being gone from your families and stuff. So thank you for helping out and doing that.
We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Is that better? Would the wrestlers please come up at this moment, at this time? First, I just want to talk about a little bit about our team accomplishments this year. We were the 2019 conference champions, which is the second year and second time in 3 years. So that's a good thing. We also won the sectional title for the second year in a row. We also won the district. We were District 1 champions, that's our first time ever winning the districts. So that was good. We also qualified for the regional duels again this year. This is our second year of qualifying for that. We traveled to Williamsburg and got beat by Williamsburg by 3. Our duel record then ended on the season at 16-1. We had 10 district qualifiers, which is the most ever. And we also had 7 state qualifiers, and that's also the most ever. And we had 1 state placer this year. So all in all, as a team, they did really well. I'm just going to briefly go over some of these guys individually. Starting off with Nick Swalla, he's a freshman this year. He wrestled a little bit with the JV and varsity as well. At the end of the year, he was on the varsity team and earned a varsity letter this year. Second is Riley Harger. He's earning his second varsity letter this year. He placed 4th at the conference and was also one of the 10 district qualifiers this year. Caleb Swalla, he's earning his 3rd varsity letter. He was conference champ, sectional champ, 2-time state qualifier. He placed 7th at the state tournament, which is with Van Meter and us having come in, 11 years now having a program. He's the second one to place since then, so that's awesome. He's also, right now, he is 3rd on the most wins with 123. The leader is Kendall Davis. You guys might remember him. He had 147. So he's the leader, so more than likely Caleb will pass him next year. And he also set the record this year with career escapes with 103. Then we have Trey Bond. He's earning his varsity letter. He placed 2nd at the conference tournament. So congratulations with that. And then there's Darren Sesker. He's earning his 3rd varsity letter. He was also conference champ, sectional champ, district champ, and 2-time state qualifier. All in all, we had a pretty good year. These boys have done an amazing job. They've grown into young men each year, and they're all coming back next year. Not one of them are a senior, so that's a good one. So.
All right. One of the, if you read Todd's article last week in the paper, one of the things he talked about is one of the hardest days for a coach is that last game where you meet in the locker room with the guys for the last time. But I think the second hardest thing for a coach is tonight, because this is not what we enjoy talking in front of a lot of people. Before I recognize the guys here, I do want to say some thank yous. First of all, to ECAB for tonight. Meal, as always, is phenomenal, the way this whole thing gets put on. There's a lot of people do a lot of hard work, so if you see an ECAB member or one of the people that serve tonight, make sure you thank them. They do a lot of things for us, from uniforms to buying us basketballs to all kinds of different things, so it's a fantastic organization. My family, I want to thank. Being a coach's wife is not a real glamorous thing, and being a coach's wife when you have a kid on the team is even worse, because for the last 4 years we've had conversations at home that probably not many of you have had about how the game went or how this went and that went, and maybe some arguments here and there, or not seeing things eye to eye. I think she put it into perspective for me this year that the first game of the season I went home and I was like, man, Trent did not play well. And being a coach's kid isn't that fun either, by the way. But I said, he did not play well, you know, and she looked at me, she smiled, she goes, you know, I don't care. The only thing that matters is he's playing. And, you know, I don't give him much credit, so I guess I'm going to thank him during this time too. So, but both of them, thank you for all of it. Thirdly, the administration, for getting us our schedule, for staying late on nights when I know Miss Knight wanted to go home, but she'd stay there until the gym cleared out and kill the lights and everything. Coach Caskey for getting us the schedule for all 3 levels. That doesn't go unnoticed. Todd and Shannon for the video, for all the coverage. The guys absolutely love being the one that I say, hey, Todd wants to talk to you. They think that's a pretty cool deal, and he does a really good job with that. And Shannon with the pictures is always fantastic. I'll try to zip through these last ones here. Jim Wolcott and Mike Rogers doing the clock. Mike Mattern, again, did our book this year. Sean on the custodial staff for getting the gym ready. And special thanks to Butch for the send-offs on the bus. I think after 4 years, some of these guys finally figure out the order that he's going to, work Cardinals and Winners, and he switches it up on us a little bit, but we're getting it figured out. Coach Ladwig and the cheerleaders for their support throughout the season. Coach Brake Goalie, Peterson and the girls team, you guys had a fantastic season. It was fun to watch. It's always fun working with those guys. They're easy to work with. We had a couple managers, Sam and Walker, I think around here somewhere. They do a lot of stuff behind the scenes, getting things on the bus, making sure that we have everything that we need for our night to go off that dish. Parents, you guys trust us with your kids, and we appreciate that. Hopefully we're not guiding them too far astray from what you have done all your lives at home, but trying to make them better people through basketball. Coach Severson, Harskamp, we've been doing this a long time, and those jobs stink sometimes when you're gone for a JV game on a Thursday night and you turn around and go for a varsity game the next night, and maybe a game on Saturday or a freshman game at 4:30. They're at every practice, they're at every varsity game, and I can't thank them enough. Canyon's not here tonight, but I want to thank Canyon for everything he did for us this year. I think it was good for these guys to have him around. I know it was good for us. Volunteered his time, a lot of time. He'd be coming to practices and games, and he'd have his own game plan that after watching film or whatever, and his knowledge was huge for us this year. And lastly, these guys, the players. Obviously, can't have a basketball season without you. So the work that they put in from November until that last game, that last buzzer this past week, can't be matched. And they bring it every night in practice. They sometimes are a little too loose for my liking, but they have a way to get it dialed in and get ready to play, and I will never fault that effort from them. So, if I get anybody that played freshman or JV to come up. While they're coming up, the guys that were on these teams were Luke Ramsey, Caden Frank, Darrell Matcham, Zach Stewart, Braden Hamilton, Dominic Brate, Grant Mundus, Carver Lee Wallace. Our JV consisted of Garrett Moore, Matt Brightman, Chris Ipsley, Sam Dowd, Caden Frank, Darrell Matcham, Clay Griswold, Jake Willem, and Grant Peterson. I hope I didn't miss anybody. These guys, starting with the freshmen, they ended their year with a 2-6 record. A couple of their losses were very close games. They could have gone either way. They competed every night. I know Coach demands a lot of them, and they competed for him. They lost a few games this year because other schools might not have a freshman team, which kind of stunk. But we made do with what we had. This group improved a ton throughout the season as the year went on, from all aspects of the game. And I think probably the thing they'll like the most of not being freshmen next year is not being asked to film varsity games. But they did a good job with that. Our JV ended up with a 7-8 record. The group also did some great things, also had some close games. There's some nights where a different JV team would show up in the second half as the first half. I think the varsity had that a few times too. But they really competed, and they did a nice job of starting to learn new roles. And I think when you get to be a JV basketball player or even a freshman, you don't realize how much the speed of the game is different than an 8th grade year. And then when you get to that varsity level, it's cranked up another notch. And they had to adjust to that. Some of those guys that were playing freshmen and then JV, you have to adjust sometimes in the same night. And I thought they adjusted really well. Both of these groups, moving forward, need to make sure that they take advantage of the fantastic facilities that we have, get stronger, and become more athletic in the off-season. Between these two groups, there should be a lot of competition in the off-season, and as practice gets going next fall. So, a couple of awards that we have that are voted on by the players. We have our freshman offensive player of the year and defensive player of the year. This year went to Darrell Matcham. Our JV defensive player of the year was Matt Brightman. And our JV offensive player of the year was Caden Frank. Varsity guys when it come up. The guys that are up here right now were our varsity this year at one point or another. Dawson Mattern, Trent Williamson, Bonnie Matcham, Parker Clagle, Grant Peterson, Alex Casper, John Humphrey, Jake Willem, Jacob Ridgely, TJ Harkins, Mac Brighton, and Jackson Vandenberg, Caden Frank, Chris Ipsley, and Dominic Brate. Varsity ended up with an 18-6 record. Entered with a district final loss last week to Anthony Christian. Going into the season, I don't think many people outside of the guys standing up here probably thought they were going to have 18 wins. I think there's a lot of question marks going to the season with what we graduated last year and just some uncertainties that we had. In my opinion, like I said, not many people other than the ones up here, we had high expectations for them, and they met or exceeded most of those expectations. When the year started, there were several of these guys that didn't have varsity experience, so again, learning that speed, learning that the way the varsity game is played takes an adjustment period, and they adjusted pretty quickly. We were talking before the season, Coach and I, and we said we could be anywhere from 6-2 before Christmas to 2-6. I mean, we really didn't have any idea how some of them would respond. I think we were 6-3 going into the Christmas break, so which I know we picked up a game there. Math wasn't very good. Like every season, there's ups and downs, and these guys always found a way to bounce back and compete. You know, even games where maybe they were up against the wall a little bit, they still fought, they still competed, and I appreciate that. We had this year some milestones, some school records, and some state leaders that I wanted to mention. Starting with Parker, was 5th in Class 1A and 6th in all classes in block shots with 79 this year. TJ was 7th in Class 1A and 17th in all classes in three-pointers made and 9th in Class 1A with three-pointers attempted. Trent was 13th in all classes and 7th in Class 1A in rebounding with 241, 10th in points in Class 1A, 3rd in 1A and 4th in all classes in free throws attempted with 202, and became the 5th player in school history to score 1,000 points. I think kind of the cool part about that 1,000-point thing was that the 4th player in school history to score 1,000 was Canyon, and for him to be on the bench and sharing that season, I thought was pretty cool too. Letter winners this year. I'll be done here in a minute, I promise. Letter winners, sophomores, TJ Harkins and Jackson Vandenberg. Juniors, Alex Caskey, John Humphrey, and Jake Willow. And then seniors, Dawson Mattern, Bonnie Matcham, Parker Plagle, Grant Peterson, and Trent Williams. We just have a couple things left here. Varsity Defensive Player of the Year out of this group went to Parker Plagle. And the Offensive Player of the Year was Trent. We were putting together our last award, which is the Cardinal Award, and Coach Harskamp sent a text after that game against Ankeny Christian at a time when he probably should have been asleep. But he said, I was thinking about this. He goes, I feel really strongly. I think we should name that the Canyon Moose Hopkins Character Award. And so we switched that name this year. And again, these were voted on by teammates. That it's presented to the teammate that displays leadership and character on and off the court, and that is Trent Williams. Finally, we have our all-conference selections. We had 4 members recognized by the conference coaches this year. Our first team all-conference was a unanimous pick with one other athlete, is Trent Williams. And Trent was also selected to play in the Iowa Basketball Coach Association All-Star Game on March 23rd. Second team all-conference, TJ Harkins. And we had 2 honorable mention all-conference in Parker Plagle and Dawson Mattern. And unless you're a senior, you can go ahead and just real quickly with these guys, this is a special group to me for obvious reasons. Dawson, Grant, and Trent we've coached since 3rd grade, 4th grade. So we've seen them play a lot of basketball. Had a lot of memories created with those guys. Bonnie and Parker joined us a little bit later, but the growth that these guys have shown as young men, I think, is what I am more proud of than anything they've accomplished on the basketball court. And we talked several times this year about memories and about making memories, and we said, you know, enjoy the moments that make the memories. And I just wanted to thank these guys because there have been a lot of memories made and a lot of moments enjoyed, and I am looking forward to what you guys do down the road. Thank you very much.
While we transition to Coach Ladvik, there is a lot of food left over here, so if you want any brisket or potatoes or yummy desserts or anything else, please grab a plate and get something else to eat. Hold it like this.
Can you hear it now?
Like this.
Thanks, there we go. So, as I was saying, I coaxed my wonderful husband into coming to our banquet tonight because he deserves a great big thank you for always sitting on the sidelines with me, occasionally driving cheerleaders to games with me, and just being my moral support whenever there's a frustration or a joy with coaching all these great kids. And so I just want to give him a huge kudos and a thank you for being my wonderful spouse and just hanging out with me on the sidelines. So thank you. Thank you also to Gwen Wiesner, who is always willing to help with every fundraiser that we throw on, and all the great crafts and the hair bows that we make for the girls so they don't have to pay out of pocket for those things too much. So thank you to that. Thank you to our awesome student section. You guys are fabulous. You need to go back, and I will put a big huge kudos out to all those guys too for supporting us on the sidelines so that we can support you players. It's been fabulous watching you kids grow up, and so a bunch of you seniors, this is the last group that I got to work with when I was at Earlham, and so seeing you ladies and gents grow up has been fabulous. So, and you also were great to watch play. You guys are such awesome athletes, and it's so fun to cheer on the sidelines for you guys, and the cheerleaders had a great time. We don't have stats, like I told people, with the cheerleaders. We just get to go and support, and we hope that you enjoy what we throw out there for material for you to see and to cheer with. So, I want to bring all my seniors up. So come on up, seniors. We're missing a couple people here tonight. We have one on a senior trip, or excuse me, on a college visit today. And we have another one, MIA, not sure where she's at. So, I just want to thank these cheerleaders and these seniors for helping continuity over the past 4 years. We have Meredith Holtsteller, who's been a cheerleader for 4 years, and she has really helped bring continuity between a different coach to myself. And so thank you, Meredith, for that continuity and helping all the ladies with lots of dances and cheers and jumps, and just be willing to teach. Dakota usually came to cheerleading 2 years ago, and when I came back to cheering, I remember Dakota as a little kiddo, and I was like, oh, I'm so psyched. I get all these really cool kids like Meredith and Dakota. And Dakota had never tried cheerleading before, but I will tell you, she exemplified strength and leadership, and a lot of people don't think that cheerleading is hard. But I will tell you that Dakota's earned more black eyes and bloody noses than several of you basketball players from stunting. And she was willing to take that on and help all the new, younger cheerleaders that we were trying to throw in the air safely and keep them coming down safely. So, thank you. Carson Waddle just throws out her beautiful smile and has cheered for 3 years, helping out as basing. and learning lots of new material and just be willing to come in and work hard. Maggie Long has cheered for 2 years as a flyer and also teaching a lot of younger kids any new material that we had. Grace Zobek has cheered for 2 years, helping lead younger ladies with cheers and dances and anything that needed teaching. So thank you, seniors. And I always mistakenly forget somebody, but I didn't in this roster. So all my juniors, come on up. That's you.
Yeah, cool.
Let's bring all the rest of our cheerleaders up. So we have juniors, our Courtney Hohertz, Elizabeth Northrup, who is on vacation in Florida right now, avoiding all this beautiful snow, Ashley Wiesner, and Sierra Garrett. And then the rest of our cheerleaders, our sophomore is Ella Goodrich.
Oh, that's what's happening.
And then our freshman is Grace. So we're always trying to keep that material fresh and try to keep it exciting. And the stunting and the dancing that we do at halftime, or even the entertainment we bring in, like having a little kids clinic, is all for you guys to help you get more involved in the game. And these girls have worked really, really hard at trying to help the community learn how to cheer appropriately at a game and keep the sportsmanship level going, because we know that we always have a couple people that like to stand in the stands, not any of our fans, obviously they don't, but when other fans in other stands start being kind of rude and obnoxious, it's our girls' opportunity to take over and help re-lead the crowd into more sportsmanlike and appropriate cheers. And so they've done a fabulous job in trying to teach that and help that grow. They've done a great job at that. So I want to get on with our awards. Our awards are voted on by our squads and by all the girls. And so our most improved cheerleader started during basketball season. She's worked really hard on curbing the fear of performing in front of crowds, studying as a flyer, and asking lots of questions about cheers and dance. And the older ladies totally enjoyed helping her learn how to stunt and to fly. So our most improved award goes to Grace Gray. Grace Culp. Our leadership award goes to a young lady who's worked hard at keeping all the cheerleaders on the sidelines working together. Even though people may have had a bad day, she's always had a smile on her face and saying, come on, we got this, this is our team, let's support them, let's keep going. She worked hard at keeping all the girls working together, and as one lady said to me, she always knows what to say to help me feel better. And that award went to Elizabeth Northrup. And I like to think that our Heart of a Cardinal award is kind of like our sportsmanship award and just our spirit award. And so this young lady, I just absolutely love coaching because she always has a smile on her lips and she's always working hard to understand whatever I'm coaching. She never has a fear of asking questions whatsoever. She works really hard on the sidelines. She's always been at practice and she comes to every game as much as she possibly can. And she's always refuting my relation of physics and geometry in comparison to science. She rarely complains, and her willingness to work has made her the perfect Heart of a Cardinal. And our Heart of a Cardinal award goes to Ella Goodrich. I just want to thank our community and the school district for supporting myself and all the cheerleaders and what we do. And it's always hard because we don't do the same thing as the basketball players do. We're not out there in the field competing or on the court competing. But we want to know that we're here to support you and you athletes. And so thank you for supporting us in the community. And hopefully we do a great job for you.
Do it first, yeah. Hello. Before I discuss the season, I'd like to start by thanking some people. This isn't a job anyone can do without a lot of help from other people. So thank you to coaches Billy and Peterson. It takes some special people to be around me every day for 3.5 months. As the head coach, everyone gets to see what you do wrong and you're bad at and you can't do. The truth is, you only see about half of that because they're very good at covering that out, helping me out. So all the people complain about how bad I am, think about that and twice as bad. Players, thank you to you. You work hard every day. You bring a good attitude to practice and you're great to be around. I'm not going to name people, but some of these girls ran cross country and they spent every day with me since the beginning of August until now. So those are some really special people. Thank you to Coach Caskey for all he does at AD, for being our bookkeeper during the season. Thanks to Jim and Mike Rogers for running the clock and announcing during our home games. Thanks to the boys' coaches, work together on gym times, schedules, bus times. It makes it a lot easier that you're good guys and easy to work with and travel with. Thank you to Roman and Katie, the world's best managers. I didn't realize how much they help out, especially at practice. Thanks to Maria and the cheerleaders for all you do. Thanks to Butch for his pep talks before all the games. Thanks to Todd Weber for his coverage of the team to the newspaper. It's pretty neat for our athletes to get that recognition. Thanks to Shannon Payne for all the awesome photos she takes. And of course, thank you to my wonderful wife and family for making things work when I'm not around due to time commitment of being a coach. My wife did just get back from the Oscars and she says this is pretty comparable, so. Doing a good job. I think Coach Williams and I are going to sing that Bradley Cooper leading on. At this time, could I have all the girls that played fresh, soft, or JV come forward and be recognized? It is very difficult to find fresh, soft games. There aren't a lot of programs that are willing to play or have enough girls out to field a team. We had 5 games scheduled this year, and due to weather and other teams canceling, we played one of those. Luckily, all those girls that played freshman, sophomore also played JV, so they did get a chance to compete. The JV team was 7-7 this season. All right, that's good. We think. And they played quite a few exciting games. I think there were about 7 games that either went to overtime or came down to the last possession, so a lot of fun games to watch. Girls worked hard to continue to improve throughout the season, so our hope is that that success transfers over to the varsity level in the future. The girls did vote on team awards to conclude the season, so let's recognize some of those. This year our JV MVP was Claire Cassup. Our JV Offensive Player of the Year was Claire Cassup. Our JV Defensive Player of the Year was Emma Jensen. Thank you very much for all you did. At this time, let's have the varsity girls. Anybody that played varsity? Our varsity record this year was 14-9. We did set one school record as defensive average. We allowed 1 less point this year than last year, and that's total. Last year we allowed 879 points, this year 878, the same number of games. So that average points per game, that's 400ths of a point less than last year, and it's a school record. We did make a couple all-time lists. We were 4th all-time field goal percentage and 5th most wins in 5-on-5 history. If you look at our losses, we did have one bad loss, I-35 coming out of break, but our other 8 losses, if you average those teams' records, they were 99-19. That's an 84% winning percentage. So statistically, the best defensive team went against statistically one of the toughest schedules we've ever played. That's pretty good. There are a few individual statistical achievements this season. Katie Noah broke her own school record for field goal percentage. She shot 60.2% from the field this year. Kaylee Hovards had the second most blocks in the season with 43. For a career, Kaylee is the all-time career block shots leader with 94. She also makes the list 12th most points, 7th in field goals, and 11th in rebounds. Lizzie Arnberg finished her career 6th all-time in rebounds, 9th all-time in steals, 10th in assists, and 10th in block shots. Good job. Those are some impressive things we're going to have to figure out how to replace going forward. So I'd like to think we had 3 seniors this year, Kaylee, Lizzie, and Tara Laporte. They stuck it out around me for 4 seasons, so good job there. Provided leadership for us. It's always hard to replace production on the court from your seniors, but more than that, it's difficult to replace good people and good teammates, and this group has been that for 4 years. Thank you. Other team awards, we have 10 letter winners, Kaylee, Lizzie, and Tara, and then Rachel Smith, Allie Boyle, Emma Jensen, Katie Noah, Jenna Connery, Claire Cassett, and Mackenzie Young. Some awards is voted on by the team, our varsity MVP. Just to give you an idea how balanced a team we are, we had 5 girls receive multiple votes for MVP. We have co-MVPs this year, Rachel Smith and Lizzie Arnberg. Our varsity offensive player of the year is Rachel Smith. Our varsity defensive player of the year is Lizzie Arnberg. We give out a blue shirt award, which goes to a non-starter who always works hard in practice, make the team better, pushes them to do their best. We have 2 winners this year, Tara Laporte and Emma Jensen. Our Cardinal Award goes to someone who always stays positive, motivates others around them, knows their role as a good teammate. This year, that's Rachel Smith. We also had some girls receive recognition from conference coaches. Lizzie Arnberg was 2nd team all-conference. Rachel Smith and Allie Boyle were honorable mention all-conference. Congratulations, girls, on a great season. You can sit down, thank you. We really enjoyed coaching this group this season, even if they picked on us a lot. Thank you to the parents for sharing your kids with us. We have a lot to be proud of. They're a good group. We are coming off 2 of the more successful back-to-back seasons in 5-on-5 history, so seniors, you have a lot to be proud of. You helped establish a culture and set high expectations for the program. Underclassmen, then, there's a lot of responsibility and a challenge to you to carry that on. The talent potential is here. If you do what it takes in the off-season and you're willing to commit to improvement, I know you'll be successful. So I found a quote with commitment, and I remember my mom saying this one, so I don't remember who said it, but the difference between commitment and participation is like the difference between bacon and eggs. The chicken participates, but the pig is committed. So I guess I'm out to get out there and be a pig. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming out tonight. If you are able to help us clean up, we'd appreciate it. All of the centerpieces, if you could take them to the back tables in the back, we're going to recycle those for next year. Everything else can be thrown away, and have a great night.